Now we are talking about the BA/QA session here. So based on my understanding, there are many people who are coming from the different background, and they want to proceed with their career in the BA or a QA industry. Now, being said that, before we start getting into the details of it, I just want to give a brief introduction of myself. This is Sushmita Kumari. I am in this industry over 15 years now, and I have worked with many different organizations like IBM, Capgemini, and all Blue Cross Blue Shield. And also I have voluntarily worked as well as working with many different type of organizations where I participate in the research or some kind of an implementation. I come from a core IT background, but does not mean that if you have or you don't have the IT background, business analyst or the quality assurance, there is no limitation to that. So I just want to make it very clear that no matter whether you have the IT background or not, that is not kind of a showstopper. My core expertise is healthcare, because gradually I have moved from IT to the business side of it, because that's what I wanted to be, and that's where I am right now. So that was kind of my area of interest which pulled me over there, and I've just followed that path of it. So today here I am. I'm a core expert in the quality assurance analyst and the business analyst by role, because I have worked on it. And also the QNext and the Facet is something which is kind of an area of expertise more on the implementation side, how to implement these softwares in the healthcare IT sector. So that's what the brief introduction I would like to just complete it now. And moving forward, before we start talking about what is business analyst, what is quality assurance, based on the briefing what I was given, the kind of audience what we have is some of you want to proceed with the quality assurance, and some of you want to proceed with the business analyst. Now, that is moreover the details what I have received. But as you see, I have also added as part of it as a healthcare IT. And we will talk about it. Why do I have that over there? And what is the value add to your profile if you want to proceed your career as a quality assurance analyst or a business analyst. But before we start into getting into the technicality, what we will cover, what is the benefit you are going to get, there are few things I just want to go over with you in terms of defining the boundary in terms of what is BA and what is QA. And the only reason I do that, most of the time what I see, when people are inquiring about these training programs, either they are not very clear of what is this role about. So they have no background that whether there is another role or not for them. So this is the exact right platform for you to assess what route you want to take. You want to go as a BA or you want to go as a QA. So this is completely your own will. Now, talking about the business analyst and the quality assurance analyst. Now we are going to see a graphical representation to understand where BA stands and where QA stands. And the only reason we are doing it to give you the clarity that if you are not aware of what a BA is or what a QA is, this is the right time for you to ask as many questions you want and clarify that which is that path you want to start. Because at this point of time, every 5 or 10 years, you are not going to just keep switching your career. So there is a time when you have to decide that, okay, that is it. And I think this is the time all of you have opted for, that when you want to proceed and define a very clear line. Okay, this is the career path I want to take it, and this is where I want to proceed with. So talking about this, let's say that when we are talking about, this is the IT world. And in the IT world, how it works. So we have a project, the small project, let's take an example. I'm just taking it so that I can explain it that, okay, we have the login screen. Okay, and this is the name and this is the password. And then this is a small area where we are going to talk about that, okay, how this project is going to get implemented. So this is a very real-time scenario. This is how, whether you are going for a BA or whether you are going for a QA, this is how the situation, the real-time world would be. The reason I'm taking it on a very ground level, so that when you walk out of this session, you are very fresh, very clear that, okay, this is what the target is, this is the direction you want to proceed with. So considering that this is the project, this is the OK and the cancel button, this is a simple login page. This is the project given. Now how this works, where the BA comes into the picture, where the QA comes into the picture. So here is the very clear understanding. This is the business analyst, and then you have rest of the world, and the rest of the world could be your user who will use this login page. You have the subject matter experts who will help the business analyst get the details. What get the details? That, okay, I want the first name, I want the last name, I want the password has to be first letter capital. So this is the subject matter expert who is helping the business analyst to come up with what the need of this user is. So subject matter is defining it, so defining the requirement. So that is where the BA is. Then you have the project manager, then you have the IT team, which is your core technical team, the developer you can say, or you can just say the architect, all these audiences. And then you have the rest of the team. The team could be, you have a third party vendor where you have a dependency on, maybe you need some information from the third party. On the other hand side, you have the quality assurance team who is going to perform and check the quality of the product, making sure that whether this product captures all the defined parameters or not. So that is what the QA is. So if you see here, the BA is interacting with all the different parties. A PM needs something, it will interact with BA. SME needs something, he will come to the BA. User needs something, he will come to the BA. The quality assurance needs something, he will come to the BA. The rest of the team needs anything, come to the BA. If the developer needs anything, come to the BA. So BA is the center point of attraction, customer facing role, who will have the regular interaction with the entire team, internal as well as external. That is what the business analyst role is all about. On the other hand, so what are the features did we say that this is customer facing? This is customer facing. What other things? You require a lot of planning as a BA. What other things? Coordination. BA will require, because when you are dealing with so many people, that means maybe 5 different people are asking 5 different questions, and you need to coordinate which question needs to be answered on the priority level. So that is the BA. Then let's switch and go a little bit over here to talk about the quality assurance analyst. Now the quality assurance analyst, the direct go-to person for him or her is a business analyst for any type of clarification needed on the requirement. Now the QA will be required to work very closely with the business analyst, IT team, which is your developer, and the project manager. And the only reason is the PM is going to talk about the dates, to understand what are the dates the quality assurance team has to follow. What the developer is going to do, the QA is going to work with the developer in terms of, okay, what kind of a development is done, if there is any test case which needs to be clarified by the developer, or maybe there is some issues which needs to be resolved by the developer. So the QA will interact with the developer also. And why BA? Because any piece of information, the BA is available to share that with the entire team, not only just the quality assurance. The other reason is the BA is the one who created the requirement with the help of SME and the end users. So what happens? what happen is that they are going to just provide the requirement, provide like, okay, I need name, I need password, this is what the requirement is. So the BA is going to capture that. Then when it comes down to the quality assurance, the quality assurance is going to write the test cases and execute them. So this is what the role of a quality assurance analyst is all about. Now, if you have more question on these topics, you can just feel free to ask, and I'm definitely going to take the question answers from you at any point of time. Now let's move on. Now, since we are more clear on what is BA and what is QA, now let's talk about some of the details. Like the first thing which is very important is salary. That is a very key factor which we are going to talk about. Then what we will learn as part of the training program. And when we talk about what we will learn as part of this training program, that is something everyone should be very much aware of, that the program is going to capture these programs, these curriculums are refined on a regular basis. And the only reason is because to make sure whatever the client requirement is, we are able to capture that as part of the training program. Because if the program is very rigid and it's not getting updated on a regular basis, it becomes really challenging for any individual who is taking the training to make sure they follow that term, they follow those norms, and it matches with the jobs, it matches with what the recruiter is looking for, it matches with all the different type of industries which are out there who are looking for these type of resources. So talking about it, the first thing we want to go over is let's look at the quality assurance analyst. We will start up with the quality assurance analyst, and then gradually we will move to the business analyst so that we can talk about it, what exactly is going to be covered, and at the same time we will open up some question answers. If you have then and there, we can definitely take the question answers over there. So let me just pull up the quality assurance, which is the manual testing we are talking about. And once we have that, we're going to I just want to pull up the curriculum. As we see here, so this is the quality assurance page where you can also find some sample videos just to get a grip on what exactly would be covered, and some additional sampling is given that will give you a little more confidence in terms of what you are getting into. As we see here, these are the key features of the program. I'm just quickly passing through that and just going to the eligibility. When you look at the eligibility, always remember on the business analyst side or the quality assurance side, the eligibility is going to be little more in line in terms of it is going to be same. The only reason is you do not require to have any kind of a IT background to get into this industry. And the only reason is, even though you are from the different industry, you can very easily get into the industry and make sure that okay, as just you know the right tools and the parameters, and that is it. Once, as long as you have done the training, or you have a mentor, that let me put it in a different way. If you have a mentor, the mentor means you have undergone the training program where you have an instructor, or you have a family member or a friend who can help you in terms of getting into the real-time experience and share that details, and that is more than enough for you. Because the most challenging part is you can learn all these things, but at the same time you need a real-time experience in terms of what are the key challenges on a day-to-day basis. Even though the theoretical part plays a very important role in terms of the training program, but at the same time, more challenging part is when you are giving an answer. The answer has to be very realistic, because anyone can easily find out that okay, whether you just walking out of the training program or you really have some level of experience. And that experience can only be given to you when you know the real-time challenges, real-time questions, what happened during the day when I was working as a trainer, and that could be shared with you so that you can use it as your experience when you are answering those questions. Now, let's talk about what we are going to cover as part of this training. So we will start off with the very basic thing in terms of what is the quality assurance, what are the different type of quality assurance standards, and then once we define the standards, then we will slowly move on to the different type of testings in terms of because when you are getting the indirect questions from the interviewer, it's very important for you to give a very precise answer. Okay, now how you can give a direct answer to the indirect questions, we will prepare you for that. So as we see here, that the testing classification, the chapter is very simple in terms of you can just go on Google and you can just read through it, functional, performance, and the security. Now the question is how you are going to give the answers when the indirect question being asked. Indirect question means that you are given the situation, based on that they are asking to find the test cases. Now when you are talking to the interviewer and providing your answer, always remember, you are going to define the test case using these theoretical things. You are not going to say that okay, by definition the functional testing is this is what it means, by definition performance testing means this is what it is. You are going to give the real-time situation. If someone is asking you to okay, write down the test cases, then you are going to write something like this. You are going to write few functional test cases, what you did as part of the performance testing, what was done as part of the security testing. Now the trainer is going to train you on that. But when you gave that answer to the interviewer did not ask you that okay, give me the functional testing, give me the performance testing, give me the security testing. They did not say that. They just gave you the situation, and based on that your answer, they are going to see that okay, how intelligent enough you are, how practical you are to give that answer. So now you did not give him room to question on that okay, have you ever worked on the performance testing, have you ever done security testing? No, you didn't allow them to ask further question on that, because your one answer was so precise and so deep, which clarified everything to the interviewer that okay, no, this person know that it's direct to the point, that this is what it is. So that is kind of an impression you gave to the interviewer. Then we will also talk about the different type of software development life cycle, what kind of architecture any project could be like. Okay, it is just 1 tier, 2 tier. We'll get into the details towards the training, how this works, what exactly the n-tier architecture means, what are the different types of software engineering methods, that also we will talk about. Then we have the types of testing. As we see, there are different type of testing, and each testing type have a different phase where it is done. So we will talk about what phase, what type of a testing is done. And at the same time, the most important thing is, after every chapter you will be given some assignment to make sure that the trainer is able to assess you, where do you stand, is there any topic which needs to be repeated. You do not have to even ask for that. If you do think that something needs to be repeated, definitely more than welcome, you can ask for that. But that is up to the trainer, who is going to make that call to decide whether you need this topic to be revised or not. The only reason is because your assignment which was done by you may be not up to the mark what the expectation was. And all those things are only important because once the training is done, this is not the end of the world. It is just the starting of the world. The only reason is training is just 1%. 99% is when you go out in the market, and that 99% is going to be perfect when this 1% is going to be perfect. So this 1% has to be 110% satisfactory enough when you walk out of this class after completing this training. Then only the marketing team, the placement team will feel confident about your training, your resume, that okay, definitely they can place you. So that is very important. Then we will also talk about the different type of testing methodology, the level of testing, that every project you are not going to just get into and write 500 test cases. There is a way to assess that. What are the permutation combination in terms of what number of test cases you have to write for each functionality. All those methods we are going to learn. How do you do the communication? How do you define the defect? What are the different life cycle you have to go through? We will talk about it. What kind of a tools are used? How do you use those tools? There are many more things which are kind of going to be a little more aggressive as compared to from chapter 1 to 8 or 1 to 9, because those are more kind of a detailed practical sessions where I'll be doing the practical sessions in with you, and after that giving the assignment as a follow-up, so that you come back with the deliverables, you show me what you did on the project, and that's how I'm going to assess you. Then we are going to talk about the software testing, where exactly you fit in, how do you write the test cases. Before giving the assignment to you, I'll be doing it in the class so that you get a feel of it. What is the starting point, how it is done, all these things we will talk about. Then we will also give you the exposure to Learn Quality Center. The only reason is this tool is very much popular in the market. One thing you need to understand is, and that is I'm giving you based on the experience. There are very large percentage of the organization who are still using the manual testing, because everything you cannot do it in the automation. Always remember that. So the manual testing is not going away from the market. If you know automated testing, that will be good, but you have to know the manual testing. You have to. And most of the people, they are still on the quality assurance side who is doing the manual testing. The only reason is because most of the bigger organizations, unless they are pure quality assurance companies or very process driven companies, are not going to use the automated testing. So that is the reason you need to make sure that the quality assurance is a key. And if you know how to do the manual testing, there is no way anyone can stop you to get into the IT job. So these are the quality center. We will walk you through end to end what you have to do when you get into the project and you are exposed to this particular type of software. We will also talk about some other tools also as an add-on, so that you understand the workflow of it and you know what exactly, if there is any other tool which is out there when you get a project, how you have to work on it. Definitely we will cover those topics as well, just to make sure that okay, we are giving you little versatile profile as compared to just restricting it to the quality center. The only reason we keep that as a variable, because what happens, quality center is evergreen, it's stay there, it's there for a long time, but the other tools are just switching. So the market demand for other tools are keep changing. So based on that, we keep shuffling that okay, maybe today the TFS is very much important, but tomorrow the clear quest is going to be very important. So depending upon what we see on the job, what people are, the clients are looking for, that's how we try to switch and make sure that the candidates are fully ready for the market. Now the most important part over here is your resume preparation and the interview preparation. And the only reason is the most of the people feel that they are not ready. That is going to be always there. But the kind of a confidence you will get from chapter 1 to chapter 12, that is going to make you prepare when we get to the stage of chapter 13 and chapter 14. We will talk about as an individual how you should give answer. It will be more kind of a one-on-one, where that you will directly be interacting with me, I will directly be pointing questions to you, and the only reason we do that to boost up your confidence, because at some point of time just standing in front of the mirror and talking is not going to help you. So some point of time you have to face the audience, and that facing we are going to give you. Whether you are coming to the classroom training or whether you are coming for the online training, doesn't matter. The overall role is to make sure that you go and grab a job. That's what the overall intent is. So this area what we see here, it was going to be very aggressive, and we make sure that every individual is assessed as per the requirement. So this is more about the quality assurance program what we talked about. Similarly, when we talk about the business analyst, that goes more over the same hand in hand. Now the only reason why we focus more on the interview is because you have to know what you have written on your profile. You have to know what you are going to do when you go out for an interview. So that is very much important. And if you do not know that, okay, you are not thorough with your resume, that is a very big challenge, because when the interviewer just look at the piece of the paper, which is your profile, the first question you are going to see from there, the first question is going to be out of your resume. That is the reason our recruiter work very closely with each individual, making sure they understand what is your core expertise, what you have gained throughout the training program, at the same time what needs to be worked on, what is your strength. So our marketing team works very closely with each individual to make sure that they understand what exactly you are going to learn as part of the training, that is captured as part of the placement, because it has to go hand in hand. Now let's talk about the business analyst part of it. So this is the another area where we see that the business analyst, now there you can see that, okay, there are the different type of roles where people gradually move into IT business analyst, business process analyst, product analyst. Now the key feature when you are looking for the program, it's very important for you that your program follows some standards. Now the question is, what do you mean by standard? The standard means, like for project management, we have an organization which have the standards defined that, okay, this is how the company should follow a project to make sure the project is successful, and that organization is PMI. Similarly, for the business analyst also, the governing body who have defined the processes is called International Institute of Business Analysts. So this particular course provides the certificate towards the end of the program, which you can use it tomorrow if, let's say, you want to go and try to gain the certificate in terms of certified business analyst. So there is a course called which is offered by the IIBA, for which you require 21 hour of training. Without that 21 hour of training, you cannot apply for that certificate exam. So to do that, you can use this training as well, because this training is, according to the IIBA, provides 22 hours of e-learning certificate, which can be used towards the cbap examination, certified business analyst program. You can use that. Now as part of this training, again, this is again similar to what we have quality assurance. First we will give you and walk you through with the roles and the responsibility and what exactly the body of knowledge is in terms of how it helps. These are the different things which are very popular in the market. When you go out, you need to know how you perform your day-to-day activity, because there will be no one who will tell you, okay, now sit down and do the brainstorming, sit down and do this. No one is going to spoon feed. How do you know that? Because how do you know that what is your next step? Your next step will be that, okay, based on these training programs, you will know that, okay, now you have finished task 1, now you will move to task 2. Elicitation is nothing but how do you capture the requirement. That's what it is. And there are different methods which we learn as part of this. Analytical techniques. Every project is different in nature. So considering that there are different type of analytical skills, analytical techniques, which an individual have to make sure they can follow these techniques and apply the right technique for the right type of projects. That we do it as part of the chapter 3. Now always remember, similar to quality assurance, the business analyst also goes through the aggressive project, and the only reason is to give you the real-time experience. Those experiences are so real-time that you can use it on your resume also, and that easily gives you 2 to 3 years of experience. You can put it on your profile. For the rest, you will be helped by the marketing team. Now you have the software development life cycle, which is going to be how any software is developed over the time. What are the different phases it has to go through? Then we also talk about the project management, because the business analyst work very closely with the project manager, so he or she has to have a very clear understanding of how the project gets executed. So we will talk about, this is a very common topic which you have in the quality assurance as well as the business analyst. Then we have the testing facts. Why do we teach testing as part of the business analyst? The only reason is the BA work very closely with the quality assurance team as well. Now, if the quality assurance measures are not clear to the BA, it will be very hard for a BA to understand what QA is trying to ask and why he or she is trying to ask. And then you will end up asking some questions which may be not right question at that point of time. So that is the reason that whoever is the close audience and the team member for the business analyst, you should know what they do it in at a very high level, so that when they are asking questions, you can try to avoid asking any simple questions which any experienced business analyst would know. So here we walk you through as part of the testing facts. Not only that reason, the other reason is the business analyst also work very aggressively on the user acceptance testing with the end users. So for that also you need to have a basic understanding of the testing, how it works. So those things are followed by the structure defined by the experienced trainers in terms of how the assignment will be done, how you will write the test cases, how you will write the test plan, all those things. Then we talk about the business process model. That is important, because sometimes what happens when you are trying to capture the requirement, people are not very clear on that. So always the visuals gives more clear understanding in terms of the theoretical side of it. So process models are how do you define the process, how elaborate it. So you may be asked to go and use the whiteboard and all those things. So considering all those things, that's how you proceed. Then we have the unified modeling language. The unified modeling language is nothing but it's a tool. It's a language which can be used using different type of tools in the market. We have Rational Rose, Microsoft Visio, Smart Draw. There are many more tools available. So you will learn how to use these tools so that your day-to-day life is very simple when you are working actively on the project. And if you have given an opportunity to go out and present it something in the meeting and there are 25 people sitting in there, you just don't get embarrassed. And how you can avoid that embarrassment? By knowing that how this tool works. So if you see, the beauty over here is we have 2 chapters which are well elaborated in terms of giving you the experience, end-to-end experience in terms of how the UML will work. And then towards the end, we will do the creative requirement writing. You will be asked, the project will be given to you, and you will provide the deliverable. Based on the assessment of your deliverable, we are going to make a final call that, okay, whether you are ready for the placement or not, or whether the trainer needs to work with you on one-on-one basis. So that is the reason I said that this is not like a regular training that, okay, you get trained, go home, and that's it. No, this ends when you are placed. So this is how it is. So the assessment will be done. The student service team is going to look at through all the different details and find out that whether what percentage of the knowledge you have already gained and what percentage still left. So they may ask you to practice on few more topics or do some more projects or the assignments, so make you feel comfortable and give you that boost up that, okay, now you feel confident about yourself and you are now ready. The best part is that there are almost more than 200 question answers which you will go through. to get prepared for an interview. And those question answers are very important because those are the question answers which are the trainers are asking in today's world based on the different nature of the project. So it's a combination of, it's a single source of question answers. It's more than 200 questions you're going to get along with this training program, which will prepare you fully. So if you can answer those 200 questions, there is 100% assurance you'll get a job. But the only reason if you are not getting there, that means there is something any individual is lacking. So always remember, the program is more about placement, less about just teaching you and letting you memorize the things. And that is the beauty of this program. Now let's talk about, so this is more on the business analyst side of it. Now let's talk about, in the meanwhile, I'll just try to pull up, why did I add the healthcare to it? Let's talk about it. The only reason I added the healthcare to it is because if you will see the BA as an individual with no domain knowledge, the BA just know that, okay, how BA works, but you have no idea how the banks work, how the health insurance companies work, how the telecom industry work. These are the different verticals. These are the different domains. At least one domain you have to have it on your profile. And the only reason is because you are just not trying job, you are just trying to get into the job. It's not like that, okay, fine, I can just look for it. If you have something, send it across. No, send it to me. I want to go for an interview. That is what the attitude you should have, because this is a real good time investment you are doing it towards the program. So the healthcare is something which is going to enable your profile in the market and increase the percentage of the placement. So this is going to give you a bump to your profile. It is going to boost up your profile. Now this is completely up to any individual whether they want healthcare or not. There is no like a by force you have to do it. No, there is no such thing. It is not mandatory to go for the healthcare. But the only reason why we are adding healthcare as part of this, because the healthcare is the number one industry which have survived all the recessions. Number two, more than 80% of the total GDP is invested in the healthcare. So if you see the United States of America, the number one investment area is the border security, and number two investment area is the healthcare sector. So you may be following the news, you can hear that Affordable Care Act, healthcare reform, there are a lot of things going on. And the only reason all these jobs are surviving because of all these federal and the state changes. Not only just the federal and the state, you have World Health Organization, then you have another type of entities like HIPAA, which is creating a new enforcement on the industry. So they're like right now the ICD-10 is very popular. So considering all these different type of upcoming changes or the current changes, it allows the industry to keep the jobs active. And that is the reason we do not try to get into the telecom also. We have to have expertise. We try to stick to the healthcare, and that is the reason we try to give you an overview, because if nobody will say anything to you, you will not know that. So we try to provide you just the basic understanding of what you will learn as part of the healthcare. You can do the more research as part of it so that you understand. So as part of this healthcare, just allow me to make sure that I get the right. Now, as we see here, that the entire healthcare curriculum, we used to have 10 chapters, then later on this was expanded to capture more course. The only reason is because of considering the industry demand. Now, as you will see here, that the course is divided into overall 20 chapters, and each chapter is followed by minimum 10 to 15 questions. And the only reason So as I said, that this is the overall healthcare, and each chapter, as I said, is going to give you minimum 10 to 15 questions. Minimum, I'm saying. So minimum 10 questions per chapter you are going to have. That is only the reason why we have it in that structure, to give you more and more exposure to the question answers. Unless you do the question answer, Q&A is very important. FAQ is very important for any individual who is doing the preparation. And here we are not talking just an exam preparation. We are talking about the job preparation. So the success rate has to be much higher as compared to if you are going for some exam, because there is very less room for any kind of a failure. So at part of this training, we will start up with the healthcare fundamental. But before we get there, let's take a pause and talk about what kind of a healthcare we are talking about. We are not going to talk about the medical science. We are not going to talk about the life science. Healthcare jobs are like people who are doing the medical coding and billing. Those are also part of the healthcare, but that's not the target. There are many people who are working at the hospital, but that's not the target. Then what the target is? What kind of a job are we targeting? Our target is health insurance organizations. And the only reason is most of the changes which are happening, the biggest IT is sitting over there. So if you see, most of the jobs are over there, which are highly paid jobs. We are not talking just any type of jobs. So considering that, that is the type of job we are targeting. And that's going to give you a real good rate in terms of the placement if you are aware of all these topics. So it starts with the healthcare fundamental, then we talk about fundamental will give you that overall understanding of, okay, what are the branches, what are the frameworks, how the statistical data plays a role in the healthcare industry, what are the upcoming and the current developments, the changes, events, how the legal and the regulatory affair works, what are the record retention laws, why you should know that, what is HIPAA. Then it also have the healthcare solution, office and the patient management, how it is done. Why we need to know this? Because when we get to this chapter, this becomes kind of an input for this particular chapter. So that is the reason we need to understand that. Then what is CMS 1500? Where does it come into the picture? How the physician is submitting the bill, how the hospital is submitting the bill, we cover as part of the uniform billing. Then slowly we move to the claims management. The only reason is because this becomes the input for this particular chapter. Then we also give you exposure to learn facet data model, in terms of you will know at least the data model is nothing but how the data is structured. What are the tables involved in the facet system? You will be given the details in terms of what are the tables available. Then we have the health insurance. What are the different type of health insurance out there? How those organization works, and also the governing body is overseeing those things. What is Medicare and Medicaid? That is very important because there are many projects which are running out there. The Blue Cross and Blue Shield. What is the history of it? There are most of the state have a Blue Cross Blue Shield. So you can think of joining one of them if you really know how the industry works, what are their internal processes. Medicaid and the TRICARE. TRICARE is more on the military side of it. So Medicaid is more on the low income side of it. So we also give you exposure. So any branch is not there which you are not aware of. You are exposed to all the different branches of the healthcare and how it works on the insurance space. Workers' compensation, we will introduce you what exactly the workers' compensation is in terms of how it is different on the state level versus the federal level, in terms of if someone is injured at the workplace, how it works. Coding specification and the overview. There are 3-4 chapters together which will enable you all the different type of coding. That what kind of a code? You do not need to, there are thousands of codes. Do you need to memorize those? Forget about it. Out of question. Then what exactly you are going to do? You just need to understand what those codes are. But you don't necessarily have to memorize all the number of codes. You just need the understanding what different type, what different category of codes signifies, where do you use them. And in a project, it really helps you a lot in terms of talking with the subject matter expert. Now this chapter is something which is a very important chapter along with the chapter 17. The only reason is this is very active. This is right now happening in the market, and once this is done in October 2015, moving forward, the demand for these developers are going to go further. And the only reason, because now they will be fully compliant, fully using these codes, and then the market will look for more experienced resources for these. Right now also they are looking, but because of the resource constraint they are not able to find it. Charge and payment, these topics are covered throughout the chapter, so you're not going to see that okay we are specially talking about the encounter form and all this, but these topics you should be able to relate it. We also have the project on the explanation of, so there are some projects you will just go over by yourself, there are some projects we'll do it in the class to make sure that you understand and follow the concept of it. The great part about this chapter is again this, because here you will have access to the trainer who will help you understand during the training. So this is there, it's a two-phase process. One, your resume preparation, your resume tips will be given to you during the training program with the trainer. On the other hand side, once you are finished with the training, you are successfully completed the program and you are all set to go in the market, the marketing team will work with you to make sure they help you on the road. Then we have the case studies, FAQs, terminology, the question answer, the assignment. This becomes very aggressive because then you will be required to answer all those questions which we covered till the chapter 18. For each chapter 10 to 15 questions, and then based on that you will submit your answers, and then if we see the need of it, that okay you maybe receive a call from me or the other trainer saying that okay this is what it is, you should focus on this chapter a little more because your answers are not 100% accurate, something like that. So if you see, you are getting a personal attention in one way that is very less likely for the trainer to give, but the only reason why we give is because we want you to go on the job. So these are what we talked about more on the what will be covered. Now let's talk about the perks, because that's the most important thing which everyone should look for, and that is the perks. Let's look for a salary of a business analyst, and the only reason why it is important, because see, all these things why we are doing is all this effort we have it in place to make sure that you can earn good. And how you are going to do it? By knowing all these things, by learning all these things, that is how you are going to get there. Now see, you can customize this particular piece of information when you're going. You can put your city, your state, wherever you are comfortable with, where you are looking. And as we see here, we are talking about the business analyst, and for business analyst this is what the salary looks like. So as you see here, it almost goes in up to 90s. So this is what the range you should look for. This is the kind of a requirement which are out there. These are the assessments which are offered. These are the statistical data which is available, right, publicly available for anyone to just go and explore, which you can do it by yourself depending upon what area you are looking for. So as we see, the median comes down to the 66 to 35, which is kind of a, if someone goes from somewhere around 47 to 80. So that is on an average, companies are paying that much for the business analyst role. Now similarly, if let's look at some other areas too, so that we get little more confident about it. As we see here, the national average salary 65. So as you see, as a startup, if you are looking for, so you are looking somewhere around 55, 60, 65. It all comes down to, there are multiple factors: the number of year of experience you are showing, the kind of expertise you have gained, how outspoken you are. So there are multiple factors which works together, which is going to help you. Then let's look at the QA as well in parallel, just to get a feel of it. and that way we will know that okay, where does the QA stands and where does the BA stands. Now talking about a BA QA, we will go a little more specific in terms of this is what we are talking about as a regular, because we have not added any skill set or anything like that. So that is going to help you. So as you see, QA also fall under the same bracket in both the areas, as you see here. See this. So gradually it is going, because the market is picking up and the quality assurance analyst, gradually it's picking up. I prefer seeing this because at least it gives you the clear understanding of okay, what is the average, and that is what we want to focus on. We do not want to see the min, we do not want to see the max, we want to see average salary, where does it stand. Now let's talk about healthcare. The only reason I want to put it over here is when we say healthcare analyst, you can go little more precise in terms of just adding a healthcare business analyst versus healthcare quality assurance analyst, because that way it will give you. So as you see here, the healthcare industry is going to put you in the same bracket, and that is how you know what exactly you are going to get after completion of all these programs and once you are on the job. Now let's look at some jobs. I'm just doing a hand pick to find out. The good part over here is always when you are looking for the jobs, always remember you need to know what area you are looking for, what location. Does the location going to restrict your career? That's what you have to understand. We will also just handpick some QA also, so that we know the both side of the world. So let's look at the BA 1 or 2, and then we will slowly move on to the QA side of it. See, the very basic requirement you are going to see is that okay, knowledge of master data management. How do you do the data management? Okay, life science, if someone have a life science, good enough. If not, you can show the regular healthcare industry, which they say that customer domain including healthcare professional, healthcare account, payers are the insurance companies. So that is kind of a going to keep your profile for these type of positions. Now that is MDM. As you see here, there is nothing much, and that is the reason why I was emphasizing on the fact that if you do not have the particular IT knowledge, you do not come from the IT background, no worries, because this is going to help. The training is going to enable you so that you understand the industry. Even though if you have the IT background and you have no idea about how the IT industry works, it's the same thing. Now see here, the compensation, as you see here, starting at $45. In those type of jobs, based on the experience I'm sharing, what happens is if the resource is little more experience, the client feel like negotiating on the rate, and it's very easily anyone can be bump up from $45 to $55. Most likely that is how it works, because if you say that I have an experienced resource, because really that person is so outspoken, it easily goes up to 50, 55. So that negotiation is there, but at the same time it's very important for someone to just be prepared for that much. Now let's look at some quality assurance as well. Just searching, and in the meanwhile, if you feel that there is something you are going to have some question answers, please feel free to just write it. Just search other site also. Let's just put QA. Okay. Now, the quality assurance, when we are looking, you will see all sorts of job. As you see here, the responsibility for quality review. Let me open some. Walmart, QA engineer, software test engineer. See, there are many more positions what people may call out. Well, let me just close out few things so that we can just look at all at once and much easier to navigate through. Now let's start looking at this one also. I'm closing it. Okay. Now see the requirement. This is the quality assurance job. Look at the requirement. The requirement is very simple. Minimum bachelor's degree, 5 years of quality experience in pharmaceutical or regulated product. Okay. Now the pharma is very adaptable in terms of taking someone from the insurance side. Insurance is very adaptable to taking someone from the pharma side. So that is going to be add-on. I see some pop-up coming up. Let me just finish up this and then I'm going to pick up the question from there. Then we have the experience with batch record auditing. This is something very specific. But if you have something as a replacement of it, no harm in that, because no job any individual have 100% which matches with the requirement. Okay, that's how it is, and this is a accepted factor for the interviewer. Then Oracle system, again Oracle, SQL, depending upon which type of a tool you are aware of, that is going to be add-on. Now this is just one position. Now I'm going to make it as more as a there are many ways, many keywords which you need to go through to find out that okay, you are getting the right piece of information. And the only reason that we do is because every individual writes it in a different way, so it becomes really hard for someone to just look at it. See here, position description: assist in providing guidance to a small group of 2 or 3 engineers. That means there is an offshore and someone who is working at the current location with the client going to work with the offshore resources. So this is more kind of an on-site offshore model. Demonstrate up-to-date expertise in software engineering, applies this to the development execution. So once you understand the entire project life cycle as a QA, you are good to go. Manage small to large size complex project. This is more about, they're talking about the quality assurance planning skills. So this is your interpersonal skills. These are the soft skills. Model compliance with the company policy. This is very standard. Participate in discovery phase of the small or mid-sized project. That means they are expecting that quality assurance person to be more proactive on it. Provide and support the implementation of the business solution. So all these things, what you see is it's just kind of a made up things. If you are good at it and you understand how to execute the project plan as a quality assurance in terms of how many test cases you have to write, what will be the test plan, how you are planning to execute your test cases as a quality assurance analyst, all these things are achievable. And as you see, the client is Walmart. It's not we are talking some small clients, it's a Walmart. Now this is what the requirement, very generic requirement, and this is what you are going to see. This is how it is going to be. Now let's look at some more. Bachelor's degree in computer science engineering or equivalent required. That means they are looking for someone with the bachelor's degree, 1+ year of QA or direct software development experience. Very simple, very specific. Then you have the self-starting individual as a team player. You don't need much. Exceptional attention to details and the problem solving skill. As you know that I told earlier also, interpersonal skill play a very big role. So how cooperative you are, how proactive you are, how detail oriented you are, because you are a quality assurance analyst, you need to pay attention to the small things to be a QA. And the only reason is because If you don't pay attention to the small details, it will be very hard for you to find out the issues which are kind of a missed problems. Maybe something is implemented differently, maybe it's not as per the client requirement. So you will only able to find all these problems when you are a detail oriented person, when you know exactly how to tackle the problem, how to perform the testing. And that is why we are here, that is why we help the candidates to get these skills. Now, ability to exploit positive and negative test cases from available requirement. Since you will do the assignment, an aggressive assignment, you will be well versed with it. How to write positive cases, how to write negative. Demonstrate strong ability to take ownership of the project and provide adequate visibility on the process. So it's more kind of a reporting they are talking about. Aggressively addresses and resolve problems and actively improves processes, product and other services. No hardship. You can very easily go and perform all these things just by completing all those topics what we have just covered as part of the quality assurance. So most of the companies, as I said earlier, are still using manual and going forward also going to use manual. The only reason is the system is not going to write down so many test cases. That is the manually completed task. So a person will be required, and that is the quality assurance analyst who will know the manual testing and who will know how to structure the data, how to do the data setup, how to write the test cases, making sure that the maximum constraint and the aggressive testing is done when the quality assurance is going through the entire test cases. And that is how the entire test cases are executed. So this is more about how you are going to perform the testing, how you are going to do the testing. All these things are part of it. Now let me quickly pick up some question. I see some pop-ups and then we'll talk about it. I'm going to answer those questions. Now, if you already have the healthcare knowledge and you want to get into the manual, see, one thing you need to understand. Number one, manual testing versus automation testing. If you know manual testing 100% and you have worked on it, then it is recommended for you to expand your career to the next level of the automation testing. Whereas if you have no experience on the manual testing and you have just gone through some theoretical side of it and you think that you can get it, I will not recommend that, because you do not want to get in and then get out so fast. You want to get in, stay there for a longer time. We have some resources who joined for the 6 months project, and you will not believe that still 5 to 6 years still they are impacted with the same client, and we keep getting the renewals of the contract. The only reason is because they are doing so good over there. So you want to maintain and create that type of a relationship where you just gave you the opportunity to go out for 3 months also, let's say, and you created an opportunity for yourself for 6 months. It shouldn't be the other way around. It shouldn't be that we were sending you for the 6 months but you are coming out just because of your knowledge and some project related issues. You're coming out in 1 month. That shouldn't be the case. See, we do understand that the project is shut down, the funding issue is there, all those things are very valid, but at the same time you need to assess, do you have experience, do you understand the quality manual testing 100%? Okay, go on to the next level, to the automation. Now the question is whether someone should go for a BA or someone should go for a QA. If you like to sit at your desk without getting interrupted much by people, and just want to do your job, don't want lot of communication, then you go for the quality assurance. But if you are more people friendly person, you want to go in multiple meetings, your day should be like planning, meeting, arranging your work, documenting, that kind of a nature of task you are looking for, and you are a very people friendly person, go for the business analyst. But the key is your soft skill and the communication skill. You cannot survive as a BA if you do not have a good communication skill. And that is you have to have. So that was the question I got, that okay, what do you think that the people should go for a BA or a QA? So that is the answer of it. But if you have decided you want to go as a quality assurance, the market is too good for the quality assurance as well, and you can definitely look forward to starting the job in upcoming few months, because now we are already in the July month. September October time frame, the market is going to again go up, and the only reason is because the December is very slow. So that is how it's changing. We never know that okay, how soon. Sometime what we have seen, that is something I want to just clicked in my mind. We have seen some candidates doing so great during the quality assurance training program that we have to ask the marketing team to start working with them during the training, so that at least they start taking calls, start giving interview, because we feel that even though the training is not completed, but they are giving and they are so focused, they are so detail oriented that they can get it right away. So we work in that way also. We do not want you to wait till the last minute just to drag you till the end and then start working on the mark. No, if we feel that you are ready to go out and explore the job positions, we will push you for that, and on that basis we may work one-on-one basis. We may call you right away that you have an interview and this is what the job description is, this is how you should prepare, focus on this topic, focus on that topic, like that. So the mentoring is very important in the entire topic, entire session, and that is the real time attention you are giving it, no matter whether you are sitting in the QA classroom or the online. And that is it overall. Now I would look for more questions if you have. Very specific questions if you have, just for you, which is very personal to you, you want to ask something very specific about you, you can raise your question, because that is it from my side. If you want to talk and ask some questions, definitely I'm just going to, you just let me know. I can just unmute your line and then I can take the question. Anyone have any particular question? Okay, I got a question that I'm interested in healthcare BA. Am I required to take the QA classes? If you think that you are going to take a BA, you do not want to go in the QA, and the only reason is because the whatever is the BA topic, what we are going to cover as a BA, is going to completely train you on the BA side of it. But at the same time, you will be given overview of what the QA will do, so that you are aware of the QA task too, so that if the QA is asking some questions, you do not hesitate to answer them. So the curriculum is different for a BA or a QA. And that is the only reason is because BA have its own roadmap and the QA have its own roadmap. Now, all the courses are going to provide you the completion certificate, all the courses. But when it comes down to using it towards some other certification exams, that's why I mentioned that, because you can use the BA certificate towards the business analyst certification, which is the next level of certification program. But everyone do receives the completion certificate, whether BA, QA, any course you are taking it, you do receive the completion certificate. Because see, there are two type of programs you always have to understand. One is just a theoretical side of it, and another one is the job oriented program. The programs, what are these programs, are the job oriented programs. How do you go and just do the crash course to do some type of a task, considering that this is what these programs are. These are more job based programs, what the client is looking for. That is what these jobs are. See, the SQL, we help you. We do have one class to just groom you on the SQL side of it, just to make sure that you understand. And also we will give you some sources where you can just take your, if you are interested taking it to the next level, you can definitely take it. If you know SQL, that is good, but not necessarily. As you saw that we looked through some job postings, they do not require SQL. But if you have it on your profile, definitely. That is the reason we will help you. We will have one class just to cover that. Okay, basics of SQL. We are going to have that. Now, any more questions? Okay. Now, BAQA. Okay, the question is, which career is easy to step with more jobs? If you see the market demand is, see, the one thing I just want to add to this, the BA and the QA, these are the roles, but the healthcare is the business domain. So when you go as a BA or a QA, you are going to work in particular industry, and that industry is going to be healthcare. So so that, so saying that, okay, which is the easier industry to get into, is both have its own challenges. BA have its own challenges because you really have to work on the communication side of it. QA have its own challenges because you really have to be detail oriented in terms of how you are writing the test cases, how you decide that, okay, what are the number of test cases you have to write for each situation, what kind of a quality parameters you need to put in place. So both have its own challenges, but at the same time both are achievable, and that is the good part of it. Now, the coming back to, I just to making a notation of about the healthcare, think about a very simple thing. If you know cooking, just a very layman example I'm trying to give here, we all come from the different background. Now, when someone just knows a cooking and you are running a restaurant, now just knowing cooking is going to help you hire the chef, or you are going to look that what kind of a restaurant you are trying to open. Are you looking for the Indian cuisine? Are you looking for the Mexican? Are you looking for some Asian? So depending upon what kind of a cuisine you are looking for, that kind of a resource, that kind of a chef you are going to hire. Exactly same way, if you are applying for the job, the company who you are applying to, if it is the healthcare, healthcare will look and give preference to the healthcare user, healthcare experience person. Telecom, telecom will give preference to the telecom resources. So this is where your domain comes into the picture. Now the question is that, how about the mobile testing? Mobile testing is altogether different program. Mobile testing is completely different program, completely different track. So if you want to find out more information about that, you can definitely contact the sales team to find out more details, or just explore the website to find out more about the mobile testing. But this is more on the manual quality assurance side, so we are going to cover more on the manual testing side. Now, the pricing, if you are looking for the classroom, online, or any mode, I do not control the pricing side of it, so feel free to connect with the representative who you are working with, and they will help you with your other questions with reference to when the class will start, how soon you can join, whether you are looking for the classroom versus online, what will be the price of each. All these questions, which are more kind of administrative questions, feel free to connect with the sales representative who you are working with. And that would be because I do not want to give any answer which is going to be not right. As I said, the sequel is going to be add on to your profile, and that is the reason we give one session to you, so that you know that how the data analysis, data testing is done. That is a very good thing if you have it in your profile, so you would know that, okay, if you need to find out and do some data testing, how do you do that. Now the mobile testing is covered, and I do not see any more questions unless anyone have so we are good to go. So if no one have any more questions, then that is really good that I was able to answer your questions, and thank you so much everyone. And my apologies, but I couldn't stop myself because we were planned to go for 1 hour, but since your kind of enthusiasm have made me also sit for 30 minutes extra, and I don't mind doing that during the class also. If this is kind of audience I am going to get, I will always be there to sit with you and answer your questions. So this is a really great platform for everyone to come and join and have this type of a learning. So thank you so much everyone, and connect with your sales representative accordingly for any further questions. If anything specific for me, you can definitely ask them to pass on that questions from me. I would love to answer that. Thank you so much, and have a good evening or good day depending upon what time zone you are. Thank you.